Ah, my good and dear friends. This is Londo Molare, and I'm watching the Bad News Bards on Tennessee Tabletop Tavern.
Well, hello, Cam.
Good evening.
How are you doing this evening?
Not too bad. I had the first ice cream truck of the year come by earlier, so yeah,
Already?
yeah.
Wow. Well, I mowed my grass for the second time this year. Probably should have done it last week. And so I think I still got grass and stuff on me. But it's always fun mowing hills.
Mm.
It's something a little different than what I grew up with. You know, Ascot, Ascot, yes. See, I see people in the chat know who he is. If you don't mind, give a like and subscribe. We try to have interesting people on here, and we got Stephen Clements waiting in the wings for us. So I guess we probably shouldn't keep people holding on unless you got something else to say real quick.
Nope. Our shows are about the guests.
All right.
Welcome.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
here.
now
Wow.
big. There we go. Uh,
Thanks, y'all. It's great to be here. And
I
man, that intro music is that's some crunk stuff. So it's called Crunk Night, and
yeah,
I
it is
see
actually.
wow. Yeah.
So,
And since everybody that sees me on a live stream, this is what they really want. We're gonna give them the gun show. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get right into it. Just, just go ahead. Yeah, just do the get a little bit of
yeah, you don't want me to
extension.
do
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, do sure. Yeah, come on. That's
yeah.
right.
That's right.
No, I could whip somebody like the old lunch lady,
Hey, if it works, it works.
That's
Oh
right.
my
Whatever.
goodness.
Whatever gets the likes.
Oh
If
my
it gets the
gosh.
mosquito, or if the mosquito bites, if it gets their lunch money, then it's worth the
That's
whipping,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you're well aware, our buddy Cam here, my co-host extraordinaire, the Ed McMahon of Bad News Bards, and also the interplanar man of mystery. Um, Cam, you like
Yes,
to
sir.
start off with a question, so
I do. I like to
go ahead.
grill our guests with the toughest question possible. That actually I'm very lazy and I can only come up with one question. But since we have so many wonderful guests, it's good to recycle. So the question is, of course, how did you first get into role playing? And you can go as deep or as light as you like, as long as you don't admit to being witness to any crimes. We have to add that disclaimer or other atrocities that you might be a party to. Please leave that out.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry there. We'll tell you.
My introduction to role playing didn't start with criminality, so we're good on that regard. But because I've seen so many comments already about ascots, no ascot tonight, gentlemen. Instead, what we're doing is we're doing a farewell show for this Hawaiian shirt that, for some reason, while I was in Baghdad, Iraq, back in 2009, my lush of an aunt decided she needed to send to me. I was in uniform all the time. It's not like I would get to wear a Hawaiian shirt, but she knew I liked Hawaiian shirts, so she sent that to me. And the thing is, what, now about 17 years old, so, and I've
Little
been wearing it
threadbare.
regularly. It's gotten there. It
Yeah.
is true, and so this is the last appearance it's going to make before it goes in the trash. So,
Well, we're honored.
going to salute my Hawaiian shirt right here. But let me tell you the answer to that question you got there. I started as about as innocently as it can be. In that, when I was a wee lad, maybe 5 or 6 years old, I found my dad's um, red book from Basic Dungeons and Dragons when it was still in the Beckme series. I think it was I want to say it was it's not it might have been the Moldvay version. Um, but or Mincer, one of the two. But I still got it on my shelf, and I found it. I started reading it, and I didn't quite understand what was going on, but I got the gist of it, and I thought it was pretty cool. So me and my Black Cat Midnight, we actually went out and we would do live action games, running around the woods of West Tennessee, and fighting whatever monsters I imagined up. And I think I started as a magic user because magic missile sounded like a really good idea. And back in the day, before I really understood what hold portal meant, that it just like holds a door shut, I assumed it would like hold planar portal shut and stuff like that, which has me curious about. Is this a problem that you, interplanar man of mystery, Cam, have? Do the planar portals open and shut on you too fast? Are you speedy? Do you have all the keys to get through them? I mean, what's going on?
Well, I've not been trapped yet, but it's interesting you mentioned that because that spell confused me similarly back in the
See,
day. It's
See,
like,
like,
why didn't it just say door?
yeah, hold door. I mean, that became a catchy phrase,
Hodor.
right?
Hodor. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Exactly. So, like, you could have just had to spell hold door, but hold portal sounds a little cooler than that. And I know Gary liked having his, $20 words where a $1 word would do.
Yeah.
But
I Gygaxian.
yeah, so that's how I got introduced to it. And then after I got done reading it, I was talking to one of my friends on the phone, and he had apparently read some too, and he understood more than I did. And he kept telling me about something called a half wing. And I was like, "Are you saying a half wing?" And he's like, "Yeah, half wing." No, he had a speech impediment. He was talking about halflings. And so we started doing some gaming, and we wound up getting some of the box sets, the uh, the easy to master rules like that were compatible with the Rule Cyclopedia version,
Mhm.
and played the snot out of that. Matt Sherman and Freezer in the chat tonight, my boys. We've played in other games together, but right now I'm running them through the introductory module from the black box set, Zanzer's Dungeon. And how many characters of yours have died, Matt and Freezer? Because in the next room over, my future nephew-in-law, he's every single session we've played, he's died at least once, and this is his first Dungeons and Dragons game, and he's having a great time because he's being brought in right.
There you
Uh,
go.
Amen.
yeah. And so, yeah, that's where I got started and just played with friends from there, and only had a few year hiatus when I joined the army, um, and then got out after that. And it took a little while to find some folks. Around the time third ed came out, though, I tried it. I didn't like it that much, and that's when I went down the darker path of vampire, including LARPs. And
Mm.
so, a lot of my modern role playing sensibilities come from that. Well, first, I was already a fan of the amateur acting perspective that was pushed in the Dragon magazine articles at the time. But then getting into vampire and how that is very much focused on really digging into your character and making it as amateur theatrical as you can. I was all about that. Um, and so that's how I got started.
Okay, cool. So you kind of went back to your days with your cat, with the LARPing. There you go. So kind
Yeah.
of a full circle.
Yeah.
And
And he was a black cat. So the goth motif held throughout. you know,
Nice.
folks all wearing black and hissing at each other because grown people would hiss and chase each other around this dude's house. And the cat would hiss and chase people around. So, yeah.
I had
Okay,
a
excellent.
dog named Midnight. She passed away, unfortunately,
Here's Midnight.
Christmas before last. Yeah.
That's too
She was
bad.
she was the sweetest, kindest dog. She would get along with cats. She would let cats crawl all over her. Didn't care, you name it. And but she finally got too old. So
Well,
Yeah.
let me delve. Yeah, cheers to Midnight's all the pets named Midnight out there. Let me do a little follow up since okay, so that's around the turn of the 20th, the 21st century era. So what have you what have you done since that time? Did you go into did you circle back to D&D or any other particular games and
Yeah.
kind of
So
that 20-year time?
the time I was getting into role playing games, that was also the time where like 1E was giving way to 2E, but
Mhm.
basic was supported the whole time. And so I just viewed them all as completely cross compatible
Okay.
because they really are. All you got to do is just change like one little thing here or there and you're done. But then you have all these options and all these adventures. You can use whatever system you want. But basically, 2E was my mainstay. So 3E and its move towards superheroes that only got worse as things went on. They like video game superheroes. I wasn't a big fan of that. So after I got out of the army, moved up to New Hampshire, and was there for a few years. But early on, there I found in a Facebook group a 2E game being run locally, and so I got in on that. So I got back to my roots, as it were, and had a good time. But Patrick Dwyer of the Dead Game Society runs a heck of a lot of Traveler. He's a mover and shaker in that fan community. He was also the guy that did my Total Con report for this year. So great guy to game with. Brutal as a dungeon master though, because I the other guys had gone through like one or two adventures before I showed up. I wanted to play a magic user, so there I was with my third level magic user, and he gave me a ring of protection +1 just to make me a little more competitive and dropped me in G1 with like four other player characters. That module is designed for like 10 player
mhm.
characters around 8th level. I was third. Nobody else was much higher either. But you know what? I found a wand to pass wall and showed him how if you give me a wand to pass wall, you're going to have terrorist hit and run tactics. That's what you're going to get out of me. And we
Nice.
messed those giants up. Um, and so, but so 4E didn't interest me at all because I wasn't interested in World of Warcraft, and that's clearly what it was. I played a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but
I tried. We made it a half a session.
Mhm.
some of the lore was neat, but it was I didn't dig it. Um, and so one of my friends introduced me to 5E while I was with the New Hampshire group,
Mhm.
and at first I thought, "Oh my God, this is amazing! This solves all kinds of problems," and blah blah blah. And I came back to my home group. I was like, "Dudes, I have to run this for you," and um, it I found out that them as players were incredibly dysfunctional, and they kept. I ran them into Out of the Abyss, and they kept TPKing because they wouldn't do basic things for each other, like give each other a healing spell
Ah,
while they were down, not bandage wounds, run off and leave somebody. So when they've TPK'd twice in 2 sessions, I was like, okay, this isn't for you. We need to do something else. Um, but over time, 5E, I've soured on that too because I realized that Steve Winter was right because I was talking to him one time, legendary designer Steve Winter, that after it doesn't take long for him to run out of ideas of how to effectively challenge the players. And the way the monsters are designed, they're not really that interesting. They're just bigger bags of hit points, and the characters
mhm.
got so many things going in their favor that
New grind, same as the last.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 5e not good for that. But there's plenty of life. There's old school games out there now, new ones. The old ones still play just as well, and
Or
then
better.
yeah, and then there's a bunch of indie games that are cool too. Like dude in the chat, Freezer. Um, we're both fans of the Legacy of Kain video game series, and unbeknownst to me, he had come up with, or how I met him was I saw where he wrote a Legacy of Kain RPG. Now it's fan made, so he can't charge for it, whatever. He doesn't own the rights. But I got to playing it, and I'm like, this is awesome. This does feel like I'm playing in that game, in that universe. And he just finished a campaign that he was running me and some of the boys through, and it was awesome. And so a lot of what I do in the RPG hobby is I edit games. I get they pay me to do it, and good money too. But folks keep hiring me to edit their stuff because I came from a literary background, got slapped around by editors myself, so now I can slap other people around, repeat the vicious cycle. And so Freezer gets that for free because he's making this is a passion project of his. He's not making any money off of it. He's just doing it because he loves the game and I love the games too and I love what he did for it. So I said, "All right, man, well you had all these great ideas. Let me just help you organize them better, clean it up, put polish on it so then we can, shove it out to people and it'll be more it would have more of the credibility of appearance. Um, and yeah, Freezer in his private life is a busy dude, but he loves him some games. So yeah, good for him. And I think I went on a tangent.
No, that's quite all
Um,
right, man.
oh, some of the other folks in the chat we got. I've seen Matthew Archibald and at least one other person that I've been playing On Guard with. We have a monthly game. Have you ever heard of On Guard?
I've heard of
The,
it.
yeah,
I haven't played it though.
it's like set during the Musketeer era, isn't it?
Yes. So set in Three Musketeers era, Paris, France. It's a game of social climbing where the objective is to have the highest social level. And you do this by being seen in the best clubs, buying drinks for the house, pursuing the highest class mistresses, whores in Paris, winning duels for just like no real reason other than like, oh, you stepped in the way, monsieur. Have at you. And like,
You have insulted my honor.
yes, yes, buying your way into government appointments, buying your way into military rank in the most prestigious units. So you can go to war, not face any real threat because you're such a VIP. You're not on the front line, but you also get first dibs on all the loot there. So you can come back to Paris and throw the money around and make a big show of yourself. I mean, it's the most vainglorious game ever, and I'm here for it, baby. Me and Patrick Dwyer and Matthew Archibald, if you don't mind dropping in the chat, I can't remember. Did I introduce you to it, or did you independently find the game at GaryCon? Because Steve Winter loves running the game, and that's how I found out about it, and might have been how Archibald found out about it. But every month we play it on Pat's Discord. Anybody in here, if you'd like to try it, come on in. We'll teach you the rules. We'll hold your hands, and it's a great time. I think the next one's on May 16th. Is
We might have to introduce my Monday night gaming crew that we
yeah.
stream with to it, and have somebody that can run it. Pop on there. There's a bunch of us. I don't know if you've heard of Lord Mateus. Matt, he's got his show is on Friday nights. He does the second watch, and he's in this group. There's a bunch of us. I stream it on my channel. Erudite streams it on his. We're not having one, by the way, for those of you this Monday because Erudite's moving. So he's got pretty much the whole house packed up in storage. So, but yeah, we are going to be doing it the following week. We're actually going to be trying Hyperborea. Have you had any experience with Hyperborea?
Yeah. I've played it at cons. I haven't played a session where Jeff Talanian was running it because his are always sold out.
Yeah,
But at Necronomicon in Providence, Rhode Island, and I know somewhere else I played in a Hyperborea game. It was good. Nothing wrong with it. Quality, first 1E adjacent system. It's a good game.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
yeah. And you've reviewed quite a few systems, as well as had a ton of interviews. And you just kind of like you've got your fingers in all kinds of pies, I guess, as proverbial saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
true.
what
Um,
where should we start? I think I had seen you on with D'Angelo,
Mhm.
and I'm like, man, I need to sub to this guy, and then I'm like, oh, I'm already subbed to him. So uh,
Oh, well, thank you for not
I was gonna
recognizing me. I mean,
I was gonna try. Well, and I think it may have been from some of your interviews
Mhm.
going back sometime because you've done a ton of um, multi-part interviews too, right?
Oh
With
yeah,
several
in-depth
people, and
stuff too.
yeah, yeah. I know you had Ernie on. Of course, we were talking before the show. Jason from Sci-Fi from ETV, which we are streaming on, simulcasting on Sci-Fi from ETV as well as the Tennessee Tabletop Tavern. Sub to both if you're into sci-fi, fantasy, any of that type of genre. He likes to have a lot of authors on. So, Stephen, if you know anybody who's trying to get some exposure in the sci-fi or fantasy realm, that
I do.
you
I
know,
do. Sword and sorcery count.
so yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
any of that stuff, anybody that's looking for it, we're always right. He's always trying to find people to put on, and he loves interviewing authors. That's his bread and butter.
Mhm.
And of course, Snob does too, Sci-Fi Snob, which Cam is also a co-host on after this show at 11 p.m. Eastern on the Sci-Fi Snob channel. He's had a couple of interviews with some sci-fi authors too. Now he does tend to focus mostly on sci-fi, but
Yeah.
but
Just a quick plug. It is our 100th episode this evening. So,
Woo! Yeah.
oh, you're hitting episode 100.
yep.
That's right. I forgot
Nice.
that. Yeah, we're on 24 now, I think.
20,
23.
23.
23. 24 is next week. So
Cool.
we're working our way up. I can't count some of the episodes I did before. I had Dave and George from Emperor's Choice on. If you are familiar with them, they have the Arduin property,
Ah, yeah.
and so
Familiar with that.
so I had them on as well as Griff Morgan. I'm sure you've heard that name before. Um, and of course he runs Arnicon up in Minnesota every year, and couple other folks there. So but man, they have just to learn the history of both. There's two different Daves. A lot of people know about Dave Arneson, but they don't know about Dave Hargraves, and that's fascinating. So we're hoping to have them on again soon as well.
Good.
But what do you know about? Are you familiar with Arduin at all?
I've heard people talk in glowing terms about it, and it seems like a bunch of creative material came out of it that wound up influencing the rest of the industry down the line. I haven't personally read or seen any of it in person, let alone played it.
Yeah, yeah. I have it. They did the Portal to Adventure Kickstarter, and where they packaged up some of the old Arduin, including some of the stuff with some of the early original artwork on it. I think Errol Otis did was one of the artists, and one of the guys that did some stuff for Diablo. If I remember correctly, that it was the first Diablo that actually had a credit to Dave Hargraves in it. Um,
Wow.
so because he influenced, some of the artwork. So, but RPG, you do RPG reviews and con reviews, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what's the big thing with the con reviews? What type of information are you looking for? Because I've seen some stuff, and if tell me about it, and what you can tell.
Sure,
What do
yeah.
you?
So it occurred to me that there's all these cons out there that I'd love to go to. And I'm sure that the few cons that I'm lucky enough to go to, other people would find those interesting. Both the folks that did go and had a different experience, they had a different gaming schedule than me. Um, and I'm curious how their games went and like what did they play? Is it a good game? Is that a good dungeon master? Was that a cool module? Was there something unique about the experience they had? And since I can't go to every single con,
Mhm.
um, I was like, other people might have some similar experience to this. It might not be able to go to any cons. I'll tell them what it's like. And like in the con Facebook pages that I'm in, Every year, there's someone asking, "Where do I stay? How do I get there? How do I sign up? What do I eat? Where's the bathroom?" All this stuff. And I thought, okay, if I do a con report, I can talk about all of that, all of it. One stop
Hmm.
shop for how to con, how to go to a con. And the first one that I used was the one time I got to go to TotalCon. I used that to illustrate the different principles of um, if you're going to drive, how far away is probably a good idea. If you're further than that, how are you going to fly? What airport are you going to go into? How are you going to
Right.
get from the airport to there? Where is there? What's there like? Is it a big convention center hotel? Is it a dinky like rec room at a YMCA or a high school that you're going to be playing in, and an
Sure.
agricultural hall like the first one started in Gen Con? And then how do you sign up? How do you navigate tabletop dot events? Is there a different system that you need to use to sign up for it? Just go ahead and demystify all that for folks. And, folks like it. And then I give them my reviews of, these are the games I was in. And this is why I picked this thing. This is the experience I had with it. And you might like it for this reason. You might not like it for this reason. And a lot of folks have liked it. I've enjoyed doing them. And then for the cons that I haven't been able to go to, I've asked some folks like, "Hey, you want to do a con report for me? Because I want to hear what it was like. I want to see if it's something that I would even want to go to."
Right.
Because like Total Con would recommend to anybody. North Texas RPG Con would recommend to anybody. My very first con that I went to, Gary Con, would not recommend that to anybody anymore. It's too unwieldy, it's too crowded, it's too expensive. And if a celebrity wants in a game, you might get booted for it. I don't think that's a very good way of
Hmm.
doing things.
Right.
And that's something that people should know because they hear Gary Con, they hear people have had a great time at it. And it's true. The first time me and Pat and one of my friends from New Hampshire went, it was all of our very first cons, Gary Con 2019. It was kind of life changing. Like me and Pat were like, "Oh, this is amazing. We need to go to more RPG cons." And then our other friend, Tim, he didn't go to more RPG cons, but he started going like, he would like never leave New Hampshire. New Englanders are famously isolated and insular. Like New Hampshireites, the only places they'll go is New Hampshire and Florida when it's winter. That's it. They don't even like going to Boston. And if you think about it, if you've ever been to New Hampshire, you kind of understand why. It's kind of a almost perfect place. You can you got constitutional carry for firearms.
Yeah.
It's a nice place. It's safe. No income tax. There's like no taxes except for sales tax. Or no, no,
Yeah.
not even that. No, no. It's a little bit of sales tax at restaurants. In general, there's no sales tax and property tax. That's like it.
Wow.
And it gets all four seasons. They're beautiful. So why would you go someplace else until you get tired of clearing out your driveway for 6 months out of the year? And let me tell you, the first time that I got done clearing out my driveway and then the snowplow came by and filled it back in, I was like, now I get why they snowbird. Now I understand why they run off during the winter. But the winter's like 6 or 8 months long. So it's really tough. But the
Well,
rest of the
they
time, it's a Garden of Eden.
yeah, they loved invading the area that I grew up. So, yeah,
That's all right. They
I
bring their money with them.
yeah, well,
True story.
I spent more than 40 years of my life down in Florida. I grew up south of Orlando. So,
Ah, so you
that
know.
was yeah. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Oh yeah, Davenport, Winter Haven, where I grew up, Kissimmee. I grew up next to Disney, and you
Oh,
know,
wow.
so yeah,
Well,
my brother actually retired from Disney after 30 years. So,
Oh, that poor
um,
guy.
let,
And
hey,
I moved to Pensacola now, so I get a little bit of that view.
yeah,
let me comment on your con review here thing.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to RPG con specifically. I used to go to a lot of board game conventions,
Oh, neat.
and I'll tell you what, the things you describe, knowing what to do and having these few little tips and such is a big difference. Because the first year I went, it's like, oh, this is really cool and everything, but I barely got to do anything because I just didn't have the lay of the land, and
No.
including things like you said, where you're staying. It's a big difference on whether you're staying at if the hotel, for example, you could just go upstairs,
Yep.
um, and especially if you're with other people and all these different things versus having to drive somewhere else, and some of them are at airports where you've got big parking fees and everything, and leaving there is a nightmare and getting back to it. Like
Yup.
BGG was one that was at airport in Dallas, and it's like it was great to be there, but leaving was a nightmare. So
That sounds
all
pretty
those kinds of things, having that inside experience information sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you also touched on something of I think I heard in there, or at least the implication is expense. How much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
Like a lot of folks think like, oh, I can't possibly afford it, but maybe you can, or maybe you can't. Maybe you can if you're not staying at the con hotel and there's cheaper alternatives nearby.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe if you bunk up with a friend, suddenly that hotel expense gets chopped in half and now it's doable. Like,
Okay.
how much can you expect to pay for food? Like on average, you're at our grocery is a grocery store available nearby,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff. Like that, the beans and bullets, the logistics of how would I do this, and so I just try to do that for any cons that I can get my intel on, and hopefully it'll encourage more people to do it because I've noticed that there's plenty of people that are in the YouTube RPG space, and they go to cons and they don't really tell you what they did, what it was like, and so I'm missing out.
Yeah.
I'm missing
Sure.
out. It
Yeah.
stinks. And
Uh,
Freezer had mentioned the Gary Gygax's role playing mastery book. I read that series, or I read that book as a series on my YouTube channel. And what it is I think, a pretty authoritative book by the guy who came up with the role playing game hobby, Gary Gygax himself,
right.
saying, all right, you're interested in role playing games. How do you get to be the best you can be in the hobby? And
Right.
he lays out, what are the things you need to train at? What are the things you need to do? How do you need to think about what it is you're doing? Um, and it's not at all focused on can you min max a character? No, no, it's about how can you contribute the most to the hobby as a whole?
Sure.
Are you putting out modules? Are you running a live stream to connect people in the hobby to talk to each other and for folks in the audience to contribute their thoughts and for us to all share ideas and connect?
Right.
All this is valuable,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a great book. Recommend it for anybody. If you can't find a copy or you just want to check it out, I've got a playlist of it. Go on my YouTube at Stephen.Clements and just look up Gary Gygax's role playing mastery and give it a listen. It
Well,
it can change your perspective.
speaking of live streams and other live streamers out there, I got a couple of shout outs I need to give. Um, I see D'Angelo is actually in the stream.
Boy, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna get you on my show too, man. Would be fun to have you on.
I know he's kind of
Uh,
a big deal.
I know. I don't know. I don't know who started first, but man, he's taken off.
Mhm.
I need some subs, man. So I,
Well, I mean, he's very generous with his time and stuff like that. And by for some reason he likes me. I'm not sure why. I mean, I think
uh,
I'm cool, but but like, love you, buddy.
I loved his wife's. I think it was his wife when she did the behind the scenes of the. She basically took the cell phone camera, went down there and caught him while he was doing a stream for gaming. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's not his wife. No,
Uh,
he
oh,
doesn't have one of those. No, no.
oh, okay, okay. Well, it was somebody. I don't.
But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know,
well, I
man.
mean, like you've seen him. The dude's magnetism is undeniable.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, come
he's
on.
totally magnetic.
Be careful if you're in a room alone with him and he gives you like this mischievous look. Just saying, go in with your full strength of will because I mean, I'm not saying that he's one way or another, but if anybody is a universal type, it
Yeah,
might be Angelo.
yeah.
It just might be.
Look at that. Look at that.
Love you,
Um,
buddy.
speaking of, he said the last con report you did of, I'm guessing that's Total Con he was talking about there.
Totocon, yeah.
It was great. Also, I have somebody who I'm working with, trying to help him out on his con. That's Chris Moneymaker. He's doing Dark Con, which you had mentioned that you had seen a couple of the Dark Con dispatches that I am doing.
Yes.
Right now we're rolling them out as we have guests and stuff like that. It's not not necessarily a regular every week show yet, but as we get closer to October, we'll be ramping that up. And then of course he said, hey, quid pro quo, man. When you do your con, I'm going to help you. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, his is focused on Dark Sun. So if you are into Dark Sun and you're looking for something to do late October, yeah, come to Knoxville, man. We'll hook you up, and we're gonna have Chubby Funster. Greg Christopher is gonna be there, so we're hoping to do a whole bunch of stuff. He was saying that he's got a block of rooms set aside now for the Hilton. His is going to be at the Hilton Airport in Knoxville, so um, it's gonna be a fun time. Let's see what else. There's a bunch of other people. Go ahead, Cam.
While you're looking, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Steve.
while you're looking for the next dynamite comment to pull up, because man, your chat is alive. Wow, there's like so many good things. Like I'm having to miss them. A bunch of folks just popping off. But listening to the dispatches from DarkCon, you are doing a good job of explaining exactly the kind of details that I hit in the con reports and that I
Yep.
would want to know. And your boy is doing a good job of selling it too. Like, it's going to be the perfect time of year to see the leaves turn in a
Yep.
beautiful part of the country. Got them East Tennessee mountains. I
Yep.
mean, there's a reason it's a tourist destination. Is it still the number one wedding destination in the U.S.?
I
Because
I
for
I, I
years it had
don't
been beaten Vegas.
I don't know, but I've been researching for my con for a long time about trying to determine where the best event to have it is, and it seems like all the events places that I can find are really big pushing the wedding thing, you
Yeah.
know? And it's like, no, I need, no, it needs to be indoors. A barn is cool, but it's got to be air conditioned because we're going to be playing with a bunch of gamers, man. you know,
Well, I got something for that, but just a double tap on
deodorant.
DarkCon, not that, but the fact that your boy explained how DarkCon, it's where the hotel is.
hmm
You walk to it from the
Yep.
airport.
Yep.
It's right there. So from a logistics perspective, if I wanted to fly in, I could. Wouldn't need to rent a car. Everything I need's right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
How convenient is that? It's
Yeah, it's pretty
amazing.
awesome. And we do have Uber. We're not backwards here.
And it's Dark Sun, and if you don't love Dark Sun, you're lame. But the good thing is that's a lameness that can be cured, because you can get into Dark Sun, or let it get into you some. And no, that's a fantastic setting. Loved it. Played it before, and but I suspect that a lot of the more recent, like 5e style gamers that like things on easy mode and just kind of handed to them, they're
Super
not going to
hero.
like
Yeah.
the fact that like every weapon you could get has a significant chance of breaking every time
Yep.
you use it,
Yep.
because it's made out of bone or some BS like that. And that ceramic, why am I spending ceramic? Well, because it's what you got.
Yep.
And if you find a steel sword, oh boy.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
first book for Dark Sun was Dragon Kings, the hardback, and that's just packed full of fantastic ideas. And I always wanted to get, I think it was at the Mecha Lot, um, the hollowed out beetle like land warship that you could get. And I don't think I ever got to use one in a game, but it's so cool.
So Davina is asking, so doesn't Tennessee have part of the Tail of the Dragon too? Yes, it's 10 minutes down the street from my house, Davina. Literally, it's right. I go to the end of my driveway, hang a right, and then hang a right on 129. Well, technically, all I got to do is go 1 mile up, and the street is like 129 and another highway are merged together for a little while, and then it makes a right hand turn. But yes, the Tail of the Dragon. My first experience of that was providing support for a bicycle race on it,
Mm,
and I was a SAG unit. I don't know if you know what that is or not, but
mm-mm.
it basically, if somebody breaks down, you have like tools, spare parts for them, and if
Oh.
they're just they can't make it anymore or whatever, pick them up and haul them to the next checkpoint where somebody else can get them back to the start. Bicycle race on the Tail of the Dragon. If you've ever driven the Tail of the Dragon, um, a lot of people like to do it. It is like the curviest highway in the country.
That says a
I,
lot.
yeah, it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I was debating. I went to go pick up a an arcade game down in North Carolina that I got for my wife and I's anniversary, and the debate was, do I go the dragon or do I go the other way? And I'm not sure which would have been worse because the way I went, I did not go the dragon, but I don't think it was much better. So, it's only like 40-mile drive, 40 miles away as the crow flies, but it took an hour and a half to get there. So,
Before we get into more con talk, since Cam had a opening question, my opening question is, what are we drinking tonight, boys? Because I just finished off a shot of Cuban rum, and now I've got some Methiglen that I made. That's about probably 8, 9 years old, and it's delicious, man. Oh, it's wonderful. And what reminded me is Matthew Archibald asked, "Is how's the meth down there?" But the Methiglen doesn't involve methamphetamines. It's just
no,
just mead and spices, and it's
yeah.
aged to perfection with some of that Tennessee sourwood honey from
Oh,
around
that's
the
good.
Jackson, Tennessee. Because
Nice.
every time I pass through, I pick up at least a couple jars of it, whether I'm going to use it or not. Doesn't matter. It'll keep.
Cam,
I
what are you
I
drinking?
I wish I had some mead right now. That would be very nice. But
Well, here, have
I
some of mine. Here,
oh, very very kind of you.
there you go.
I think the last time I had mead actually was at a game con. But
That's cool.
that's neither here nor there. Unfortunately, all I'm drinking right now is water. But you enjoy, and I like the party spirit that you bring to the show. So
Oh yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I am drinking what the first time I experienced about 26 years ago when my wife and I were still dating. We had to go up to Pennsylvania for a funeral. Her grandmother had passed away, and in the hotel bar they had this weird beer, and I said, I'll have some of that Chinese beer there. And you know where this is going, right?
It's Eastern China, right? Like really Eastern China.
Yingling.
That is a fine beer. No, I really like Yingling. That's some good stuff.
Which at the time you could not get in Florida.
Right.
It wasn't introduced into Florida until later on, and then once it was like there. And when we got married, I took her out to Vegas, which I saw somebody say. I think it was Angelo that said Vegas, baby. Well,
Oh,
I lived in
Angelo.
Vegas too. I lived in Vegas in the '94 and '95, and I think they still had the Star Trek experience going on there at the time. I went and I think it was Cork's Bar was there or something like that. I went in and oh, okay, this is cute. But I wasn't a tourist. I lived there, so I moved from one tourist area to another. It seems like I live in tourist areas. I don't know.
Jeff, I
Yeah.
think there's a comment you have to highlight there from DM and friend, the DM and friends.
Oh, let me see
I think it
here.
was important if it was the one that I saw.
That's
Vegas, baby, that one.
no.
Did I?
That's a good one, though.
No,
No, Steven, I love you. Okay, that one.
I
no.
appreciate that one, but there's one much more recent. If you hit him talking about meth, you've gone too far.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yingling.
Tsingtao's good,
Well,
though.
you
Yingling is not from China. Yeah, no, I know it's not from China, Davina.
while you're
And
finding that,
yeah,
Jeff, I'll just quickly mention the first place I ever heard of mead was in Module B2, Keep on the Borderlands. Because as I
good.
recall, the barkeep there really liked mead, and you could bribe him with it.
Is this the right one?
That's it.
Yes, that's the
Read it,
one.
Thanks,
Jeff. Read it.
thanks, Angelo. Subbed. Love that you have the best on here. The man, Stephen Clements. You got to understand, he is one of the smartest people I know about the hobby. No kidding.
All
Look at
right.
that.
See,
Big brain getting bigger.
big brain activities, man. That's what it is. And I appreciate it, Angelo. Angelo's a ton of fun,
Yeah.
and it's always a good time to be on a show. It's just that dude, he does not stop with the live streams, and so like he'll be like, "Come on, man, let's go," and I'm like, "Dude, I got stuff to do. Like
I,
I
I think
can't."
I think he's trying to follow in our buddy Tenkar's footsteps, man. He live streams 8 nights a week. But
Well, even Tenkar just said that he's had to scale
he's cutting
back,
back. Yeah, yeah.
and I've noticed that since he started doing that, like I wasn't a huge fan of his show I wasn't because
Yeah.
it seemed like he was just going through it just to go through it. But since he scaled back, I've given him another
Quality.
chance, and it's so much better. He takes the time to fully explore the idea and presents it so much better than he
Yeah.
had been. Now, he's got more subscribers than me, so what do I know? But this is like now I listen to like every episode that he's got.
Yeah.
Whereas before I'm like, this like he won't be able to work the audio. Something's going to mess up, especially when he had like guests on. It's like,
Yeah.
what is this guy even doing? But now he's nailing it. He's hit his stride, man. He's been out there for a while, but he's now it's stronger than ever, in my opinion.
Well, Restream has been killing a lot of us lately because
Really?
they're doing updates, and as sometimes we'll be like what 20, 30 minutes into a show, and one of us will disappear, and then we'll pop back, and then another one will disappear and then pop back, and we're
Oh
like,
yeah.
come on, guys, we pay you for some of us pay them anyways. I pay them for because
The
of what they're
program, you mean for the program, not us. We don't.
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't get paid. We get
We get
paid.
paid in
What's
exposure.
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
because like when we get off air, he's gonna moon us. So he pays us in
Mm,
exposure.
yeah,
there you go.
exposure. Yeah.
And that's why I was so eager to say yes. Like, yeah, let me
Yeah,
see
be
what's
careful
going
about those
on there.
contracts and those double meaning words. Um, I had a question for you to delve into this about uh, airports, conventions at airports. In some ways, that sounds like a great idea, right? Because you
Sure,
could
yeah.
theoretically fly right in there, not need to get a car, et cetera, and so on. Um, and I've done that before, like I mentioned, BGG Con in Dallas. But it was I didn't have a car, and the offerings for food and things were terrible there,
Oh, you're
and it
stuck.
was I was
Yeah.
completely dependent on the kindness of others. Which is great if you have friends you're going with and such. But what do you think overall? Is airport a good place for conventions, or
Hmm.
Because
You know,
I'll tell you the reason why I didn't pull any triggers yet is because of the expense. They're very proud of the fact that they're attached to the airport. So,
Mhm.
um, what do you think though? Is it worth it? Some people say yes, and I haven't heard a lot of people given any pros and cons.
Orlando Airport would be great if you could afford it, because that place has got the mall and everything there, and all kinds of offerings. But
I guess you just have to do your market research to find what hits the price point you're aiming for. Are you looking for a high end, shiny, uh, but pricey gaming experience? Well, what market are you trying to attract with that, and do you
sure.
think you'll get them?
Yeah.
Are you looking for something where anybody can show up? Because, like, say, North Texas, there's like at least four hotels right next to it, and they're all cheaper, but they're also worse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to save some money, but like their continental breakfasts are garbage. The facilities aren't good. Whereas if you pay a little bit more, you get the convenience of being in the con hotel, and it's up to date, it's nicely managed, and the food trucks are there.
Mm.
And there's a range of prices for the food trucks. Like some of them, one year I lived off these grilled cheese and Taylor ham sandwiches, and they were like $5 a piece. So I'd load up like 4 or 5 of them a day, just eat that. And they get cold, they still taste good. Don't keep them for too many days because that would
Yeah.
be unsanitary. But then they also had higher end fare, and then of course you could buy the hotel food. And so you have price options if you want to go there. Whereas if you go to Gary Con Timber Ridge, unless you're driving, you can only stay there. They've spread out a bunch of the events to different areas, and they've got a shuttle running between them, but it could be like 20
Mhm.
minutes before you could get someplace. So that's inconvenient of itself. And like Archibald can speak better to that. Um, and Total Con, not other hotels around it, but there's a cheap grocery store right next to it, cheap but good, Hannaford's.
Yeah.
And so when I went, I first thing I did after I checked in, went over, got all my water, got all my snacky bits, And so like the amount of like restaurant food I had to buy was pretty minimal after that, because I
Sure.
had apples, I had cheese sticks, I had whatever, I had the bottled Starbucks espressos
Right.
that I can't live without espresso. Not necessarily Starbucks, but just espresso. Just
It's the
give me that.
caffeine. You need the caffeine.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't like the drip. I like it concentrated.
Mm.
Um, and so but the hotel itself, reasonable enough, and it included a breakfast. So it was a good overall value, but it was also far from the airport. Like my friend Pat picked me up at Boston International and then drove me like an hour to get there. Does
Mm,
everybody have that option?
yeah.
Right. Now, what about size?
Mm,
Um, Small cons, because we did a show. What was it? A couple months ago, where we were talking about the rise of the small cons and how the small cons seem to be really picking up in popularity over the past few years, especially. I myself am going to CNYCon in June, and I know a bunch of people that are going to be going up there. Talanian is not going to be able to make it. I found out. Roger, who runs CNYCon, he actually messaged me and he's like, "Yeah, Talani can't be there because I think his daughter is coming back from college or something like that." So, you know,
a good
uh,
reason.
yeah. So I get it. Okay, okay. I'm hoping to have him on at some point. I really want to. I'm hoping to get to play Hyperborea, at some point at a con as well. But that's why I'm looking forward to the live stream where at least I'll get a chance to test out the system and kind of get a feel for it. But small versus large, you've got Gen Con, you've got Gary Con, you've got Origins, of course, is up in Ohio.
Mhm.
You know, what
Yeah.
do you think?
So now I haven't been to a Gen Con, so I haven't been part of the cattle call of giant cons. Just to give you my perspective, the largest con I've been to was GaryCon 2019, and I think they were just at like 2,000 people there.
Yeah,
And I felt like if it was any more, it wasn't gonna. It was gonna
you
be
wouldn't.
annoying.
It would be more
Mhm.
of a
Um,
trudge.
yeah, whereas Total Con, very well set up space, about 1,200 people each year,
Hmm.
never felt crowded. Everything was easily accessible, not a problem, good to go. North Texas, the place feels cavernous, and there's still like 600 people running around,
Yeah,
but never feel cramped at all, which is great. And you mentioned a barn. The one Apple Con that ever happened in Cornish, Maine,
yeah.
Lloyd Metcalf put it on, and I was at GaryCon 2019. He told me I should show up since I lived in New Hampshire. And I was like, okay, I will. So I did, and it was a 4-day weekend at this inn there, and the gaming space was this barn attached to it. And now it's like late September in Maine, perfect weather. So the
Yeah.
fact that it was unair conditioned didn't
D-
bother anybody.
Right.
And it was great. And it was only like maybe 50 people. But we had a fantastic time. Um, now, have you considered starting like with a 1-day con at like a rec center or something like that?
So I do have a venue that I've looked at that I can afford, and myself, that is very reasonable, but it's the opposite direction from the airport in Knoxville. It's in this little town that had the only successful revolt in history since the
Athens,
Revolutionary War.
Tennessee.
Yes,
The
sir.
Battle of Athens. I grew up
You have
reading
heard
about
it.
that. Yeah, well, I'm a
Well,
Tennessean by birth
yeah,
and
yeah,
Southern by the grace of God. So, yeah.
yeah.
So
If I
I'm
want to go,
concerned about you going to SUNY because I'm assuming that's in New York, and that's like behind the Iron Curtain, man. Like I'm worried
I know, I
for you.
know, I know, but he promises that Utica is okay. Okay, so that I'm gonna be all right. That they're not gonna have, and I know most of the guys. I've either talked to them
Okay.
on the phone, or have talked to them on Discord, in voice chats, or uh, chatted with a lot of folks. So, and I know the caliber of the people that are going there, and he is trying to keep the con small, as some of these are. North Texas is like, yeah, we're not planning on growing any bigger. We don't want to be. We don't want to become the next Gen Con or the next, something like Dragon Con, heaven forbid. And we heard stories about that.
No more. No talk about Dragon Con. No.
Dragon Con. Like I lived in Memphis for a couple decades, and I would have friends who would caravan down there and then all stay in the same room because that was the only way it was affordable. And I was like, this sounds miserable. Why would
Mhm.
I ever want to go there? And I've never been tempted to go to Dragon Con because of the inconvenience and the expense of the whole thing. And the motivation of the con designers and your intent for the con makes a difference. Are you there to have a good time and do it for the hobby and general enjoyment? Well, then you're probably going to not try to nickel and dime people as much as possible.
Right.
Whereas, from my understanding, I could be completely wrong. Um, Luke Gygax is dead set on making every connection he's got to the hobby as profitable as possible. That
Sure.
can be fine, and so that's why he's shoving more people, more gamers into a bag too small to hold them. And it's
But
he
it's
gets
I
on
mean
board.
yeah, and I think something like GaryCon would be cool to go to maybe every couple of years. It's kind of like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
my other big hobby. I'm a ham radio operator, okay? And so we have our own version of cons and ham radio. They're called ham fests. And the third largest ham fest in the country is in Huntsville, Alabama, of all things, right? Who would have thunk that? The second largest is in Orlando, and then the largest in the country, and one of the largest in the world, is in Dayton, Ohio. Well, actually, it's Xenia, Ohio now, but it started in Dayton. And you're like, well, these places don't make sense. Why? But I mean, Orlando, okay, yeah, it's a tourist destination, so a lot of people they can convince the wife and kids to go, right? Hey, look, there's Disney World and Universal. um, but
Well, that's an
Dayton,
excellent,
Ohio.
excellent point. It's like some of the places have, like Vegas and Orlando, they have the huge facilities, right? Which
Hmm.
is good on one hand, but bad on another. And so these middle places, like you're talking about, Jeff, yeah, all tough choices, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And the,
yeah.
o- the other way that I was looking is, well, what about not necessarily Gatlinburg, because there's no way I could afford Gatlinburg, but
Mm.
maybe Pigeon Forge or Sevierville or something like that as an alternative. Um, you know, uh, again,
Question: what's the concept of Smoky Con? What is it you're trying to do with
so
it?
SmokyCon is basically going to be OSR and OSR adjacent focus. So we're looking now. I'm not if you want to run 5e, I'm not going to care. I might look at you funny if you say you want to run 5.5, but you know, and look at your cross-eyed if you want to run fourth edition, but 3.5 third edition, second, first, OD&D, AD&D, AD&D second edition, Shadow Dark. I'm a
Yeah.
big Castles and Crusades fan. I
Yep.
love the trolls. They're great folks. I had Steven on
Hmm.
last week on a special episode. Of course, they've got a Kickstarter going on, and we're going to get into that too because you have an affiliation with somebody who's also in this Mega Dungeon month on Back Your
Oh
Kit,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
we'll bring that up here shortly. Um, but that's what I'm looking at. I the venue that I was looking at maxes out at 300 people. Well, 299 is what it says. So I'm of the opinion that I kind of would like to, I think it might not be a bad idea, but it's close to 75. It's like literally like right down the street. There's several hotels right at 75. It's not too bad. There's enough places to eat there. That it might be something reasonable. I know if I go closer to the Smokies, the cost is going to go up. If I go to the airport, like my buddy Chris did, the cost is going to go up. So you know, so CNY to me is actually an an exploratory type adventure.
Mm.
Because I went to a con in Knoxville. They had Rocky Top Game Con. And that was really my first big con. Well, it wasn't that big, but it was my first, you know, real gaming con thing experience. And I've been gaming since '85, and just like you said, never went to any of the cons. Um, the problem is it was predominantly a tournament for Warhammer. It was like a regional tournament for Warhammer 40K, which I'm not a. God bless people that can afford Warhammer. More
Not
power
me.
to you. But I am not that rich.
If
you
I
know.
had the budget for Warhammer, I would just spend it on cocaine.
Yeah. I love
Not to
the.
use, just decorative. Just to put it on a coffee table as a
Yeah.
conversation piece. Like
Yeah.
I would never do that. It's a terrible idea.
But
Yeah.
but that was that, and there's a Star Wars equivalent to it, very similar to Warhammer. We're talking, the basically tables the size of a sheet of plywood. The with the big elaborate layouts, and they're using the elaborate. Now there was some gaming going on up in the mezzanine area, and it was kind of hit and miss. I think I went on a Saturday. Um, and I was expecting a little more in the tabletop side, but there wasn't that much. So
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I really want something that's going to focus on, people that want to play. I want to play in a Traveler game. I want to run a Traveler game. I want to play in, yeah, in a CNC game in person. I want to run it. Hyperborea, I'm itching to try that. Dragon Slayer by Greg Gillespie, great game. I'm dying to and to learn how other DMs function. You know,
Yeah, and that's one of the great things of mixing it up at a con, so you can see how other people do it. So
yeah,
instead of reading other people's ideas or watching YouTube videos, you get the rate of communication so much faster, and the experience is so much more personal. So y'all can exchange ideas and techniques so much
right,
faster,
yep,
and so get that creativity going. Because that's one of the things about the hobby is that if you're gonna do much with it, you can't be a one man band. You have to connect with others, and that's like what we're doing. And like the fantastic comments, you still get like, dude, you got some mad chatters in here. But I tell you how you could get sponsorship if you promise that every game will either be On Guard or Birthright. Matthew Archibald will pay for the entire con
oh
because those
really?
are his two favorite games. If you
Birthright, you
have like
say?
Birthright, huh?
Yes, I mean Birthright.
Hmm.
Because at TotalCon, I think it was at TotalCon, Archie didn't like you just did nothing but uh oh no, it might have been another gentleman, but he did nothing but Birthright all weekend. But yeah, Archibald, that is a Birthright evangelist right there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I like the sound of this.
Yeah,
Um,
connect with Matthew Archibald.
eh,
He'll love you for it.
I see him in the chat. I'm gonna highlight him in a second here, but DM and friend Angelo, what con are you putting? So right now, Chris Moneymaker is putting on Dark Con, and that's coming up October 24th and 25th. All right, he'll correct me in the chat because he's in there. Um, but I'm helping Chris with that, trying to do promotions. I've played at Chris's house. He lives on the north side of Knoxville, so it's takes me about an hour to get up there or so, but it's not bad. I'm closer to Athens than him. Let's put it that way. Um,
Question.
mhm.
Is there another con like pop culture con, sci-fi con, anything like that that's happening in your general vicinity, and that maybe you ask the con organizers, would y'all mind if like I organize like as an ancillary event to this an RPG section, and then you run that because then you might get some cross promotion from them because like at Pensacon here in
Mhm.
Pensacola, 99% of the people there are to get pictures with has-been celebrities and sci-fi greats and do the grip and grin and like cosplay. But there is a very small section of role-playing game folks. Unfortunately, the person who runs that is really bad at it, so it's a miserable experience. But if you have any idea what you're doing, then you could no doubt do so much better.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's one way that you might think about it and draw more interest, but also So if you're looking at Athens, and you're looking at old school, like you're rebelling against the modern stupid, and play to that rebellious accent or rebellious spirit of Athens, Tennessee for your marketing. Lean into that,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to build. You know how it is, right? Politicians, especially on the local scale in the country. Oh, we're gonna build this convention center and blah blah blah. Of course, there's no hotels in the area that could
Where are they going
handle.
to go?
Yeah, yeah. Where they gonna stay? It's a little bit of a trek up to the highway to the interstate from here. Um, but there are some tourist things around. There is a private cave that actually I have to pass to go to take my dog to the vet. And I had talked to a former employee there at one point in time, and they apparently at one time played D&D down in the cave,
Dude,
like
I
the
would totally
employees did.
play D&D in a cave.
Wouldn't that be cool? And I'm
Ag-
like, yeah, we could do like a special pre-con type of, yeah,
Yeah, no, that
so
would be amazing. And I've seen King Yellow pop up in the chat, and I know you're hiding from me. Thailand is not going to save you, neither any of the people that you're comforting with in there. Uh, God sees you, King Yellow. But
yeah.
have you thought about renting a Masonic Hall?
I have. I that has crossed my mind.
It's gonna be cheap, it's gonna be spacious enough,
Yeah,
parking's probably gonna be free. People who aren't familiar with it might be intrigued just to go in one. I mean, you and I know they're
yeah.
rarely something exciting, but it'd be kinda cool, and
Spaghetti
I've
dinners are
heard
awesome.
and the garlic bread from the hot dog buns.
Oh,
Yes, I've made so
yeah.
many of those,
Cannot
but
tell you how many,
but a couple
how many gallons or how many. What I don't even know what you call it of spaghetti I've boiled
vats
over the years.
of
Yes.
spaghetti and sauce, and I'm
Yeah.
eating more peppers there than you want to think.
Oh
But I've
yeah.
ran a couple live action Call of Cthulhu games at my home lodge, in Bartlett 211 outside of Memphis, Tennessee. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had like 40, 50 people show up, and it was just a free event. And my
Yeah.
lodge was like, "Yeah, just don't trash the place and no alcohol," and we were good.
Yeah. So Matthew Archibald, he's like going to research diversity and dragons on Reddit. I
Don't do
Yeah,
it.
that'll don't do that. Just
Dude's
watch his
lame.
show. Just watch his show. Yeah, don't look him up on Reddit. He's Double D is a great guy. We've had him on the show. Um, um, he's can be controversial. I'm pretty sure nobody on Reddit gives him the credit for what he has, but he has been running a birthright campaign for like 30 years or more. So
Birthright is the in my opinion the gem of 2E that WotC seems to have no interest in, and for that I am grateful.
well, I mean, they keep on teasing us with a Dark Sun thing. Yeah, I'm thinking if you're gonna do Dark Sun, you might as well just do Shadow Sun from Chubby Funster. If you're looking for a modern, D20 type system based thing. Uh, and Chubby is going to be at DarkCon. He's coming up. Well, actually, at that point, he maybe have moved already and maybe coming over. But
Hmm.
so
Interesting.
I think he's supposed to be the special guest, isn't he, Chris? So,
You, you know what? This is a little bit of a tangent. Um, I know that they used to have like these organized play things and such, like Pathfinder for first edition Pathfinder did a ton of that stuff, and at the gaming conventions I went to, those were madhouses. I mean, people went crazy for it. Does anybody do that kind of organized play anymore that you're aware of?
Adventurers League, I keep hearing either it's dead or it's back. I know that locally we have an Adventurers League event, but that's just 5e. I know that Castles and Crusades had one for a while, but that's
they
been
are
gone
working. They are
forever.
working on one. They are working on one. I'm on the email list for that. Grace is
Okay,
working on
good.
that. So, um,
And I
yeah.
love those guys, so I wish them nothing but the best. I hope it works out. I'd
No, they're my
love to be
buddies,
in a league.
man. They
That,
are my buddies.
that was a great
I
episode.
Yeah, yeah. Steve, we killed his brother's computer. I don't know if you caught that.
Man, I don't think that was your fault.
No, it's not.
I think they had chewed up like some 1988 386 running 70.
That's what you
Like,
got behind you, isn't it?
no, this is a just a box in which sits a pretty potent um, home assembled PC that I edit all my videos on, stuff like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a beast.
I have
Oh,
an affinity for 386 machines. I'm not going to say anything bad about them.
well,
Back
see,
in the day, they were great, man.
see. I'm an IT guy by trade, as is my minion Dan, who I don't know if Dan is in the chat or not.
You're very desperate to have minions.
I know, I know. I love it. I love it. I've got minions.
And so I see now Dark Sun is the gem after you said that Birthright was a gem, whereas I know that the actual hidden gem of 2E was Al Qadim. Um,
Mm.
and
Mm,
the art was beautiful. The
yeah,
setting just breathed. It was alive. The adventures were pretty good. And the creators of it said that they were so lucky that the executives got distracted by things like Birthright, that they left them alone to do what they wanted to do, and I think it was fantastic.
yeah,
Um, but if I had to pick one setting for 2E, Planescape, because I think Zeb Cook did just a fantastic job of setting up, making intelligible and like living to where you could move around and relate to something so foreign as the outer planes, the inner planes, these other realities.
yeah,
Because like the manual of the planes was good. You could run a plane game campaign just with that, no shame to it at all. But Planescape just introduced so much good material. Um, and the Pages of Pain novel by Troy Denning, actually really good.
yeah,
I would not sleep on that thing.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not a fan of 2E. You know, if I'm kind of wryly say that 2E was the 5E of its day. I understand people love 2E. I'm not trying to piss on them or anything like that. I enjoy what you enjoy, but the point I'm trying to make is that two. I think everybody can agree that the campaigns that came out of 2E are fantastic. You know, Dark Sun, Birthright, Planescape, all of these are just great.
Well,
Planescape is the thing about it is it was unique, right? It was very unique in the way it was done. Even in the Planescape video game, I remember playing that too, and I loved the heck out of that. Um, the thing about sigil, whatever you want to
whichever
call
one
it.
you want.
Yeah.
In this prime material plane, it might be Sigil.
Yeah. The thing is what they had that made it unique is something that, like, in modern era fifth edition, they're just trying to, or 5.5 especially, they're just trying to throw that, because it was the one place where you might see a tiefling and a
Mm.
drow and all not literally not at each other's throats, trying to,
Because they had to.
Yeah,
because
Because
they
if they
had to.
didn't, they'd be murdered and
Right.
right.
or disappeared in a very traumatic way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if you're a drow and you're running around and you come into some town in Faerun or Greyhawk, the first thing they're going to do is you're going to become a pincushion for bolts and arrows, you know?
And people are going to be looking for where the
Yeah.
rest of the invasion is.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
because they're, yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why Drizzt had so much of a hard time to deal with. Um, Now it's like everybody wants to be a drow or a tiefling or you know,
Well,
and
and Drizzt also had a bunch of non-drow friends who could vouch for him.
right.
And so that's one more reason why, if you want to play something, usually inherently evil or monstrous, and as written, Drow are inherently evil. It's
Yes.
it's baked into the Forgotten Realm setting that they
Yeah.
are incurably, to some extent, malevolent. Um, but that gave you a reason to need the other members of the party to tell everybody else, no, no, he's cool. Really, he's cool. calm down. And so I don't know, maybe that's a role playing opportunity. Heaven forbid you pick this weird thing, and that you might want to pretend like you really were walking a mile in their shoe and
Right.
proving that you were good and this and that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because everybody's going to have that preconceived notion, and now it seems like everybody wants to play the edgy. Oh, I'm the exception. Well, no, no. If everybody's the exception, then that's the rule now,
yeah,
and
Yes,
that rule sucks.
yeah, it
it's
You
like
does.
know,
the hot topic of the D&D world.
and I
Yeah.
think that's the big schism, if you will, between those of us that are OSR and OSR adjacent. You know, that we look at the old school stuff, and versus the and 5e. I don't get me wrong. I loved running 5e. It was great to be able to do it. I learned early on that that the CR tables were totally bogus. There was nothing of any value. You could not go by them. Even WotC didn't use the CR tables themselves in fifth edition. They had some other spreadsheet formula that would actually calculate up. You know, the problem is all your PCs are superheroes in fifth
Mhm.
edition, and it just became worse once they hit about the Tasha's Cauldron. That was about the breaking point for me.
That's when I left. That's
Yeah,
when I
that's
wasn't even pretending to mess with it
me
anymore.
too. Me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When Tasha's came out, it was like, oh Lord. And then so I see 5.5, and I'm like, I saw where they were going, and now I call it the Grey Goo edition. Really, because if you think about it,
Great.
yeah.
Hear it.
Think about it. You've got you now. It doesn't. They took away all the racial stuff. They don't even call them races anymore. Now they're just now it's ancestries, and it's like okay. You've got the you could have a halfling or a gnome that's got the strength more higher strength than an orc or a half orc. Well, and now you can play an orc in 5.5, and it's like no, orcs are inherently evil. Orcs are evil.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
don't and
I hear you.
that's I think why a lot of folks have just kind of gone ah, you know.
Well, when the differences don't make a difference, then they're not different. And a friend of mine put described 5e as playing its D&D Barbie dress up edition, and that's really it is. You're just swapping out skins.
Yeah.
Um, and now somebody had mentioned who's going to mention Spelljammer,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll do it because I own every game book in the line and would love to play it. And I understand. I've got all the little cardboard stand
Those
spell
standees.
jamming ships
Yeah.
and the maps, and I know
Wow.
how it works. It's a wonderful game. And 5e just
Well,
let's not even talk about the 5e version. It's not even worth talking about.
well, the thing is it was 360-page. We're talking books that are thinner than Dr. Seuss books that you had as a child.
The 5e one,
The 5e the
yeah.
5e one, and there was three of them, and it was a box set. You could have put all three books in the one, and it wouldn't. Maybe you would have had 180 pages. You
And they
know.
didn't even put ship combat in it.
And they forgot ship combat. It's like, oh,
It
what do
was
you mean you
garbage.
don't? You know,
Yeah, it was some
so
garbage. But
I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm cautiously optimistic about Dan Ayub, and I think there was this. I don't know if it was quite a mea culpa, but for them to apologize to Luke and the Gygax family, I think did go. It was a good first step.
now they owe it to us because they have spent the past decade plus in bad mouthing us,
Yes.
intentionally trying to alienate us. And like the D&D movie, I loved it. It was actually a good movie.
Oh
But in
yeah.
the press tour leading up to it, the
Yes.
creators were bad mouthing white men. We're your largest customer base. Why would you do that? And then the movie didn't do as well as it probably deserved to do.
Yeah.
Why would you even let him say that it was about emasculating men? Why?
It
Does-
because I didn't take it. I watched the movie. It wasn't. My wife and I went and saw it.
yeah, it was great.
It
I
was
loved it.
it was okay. There was some humorous references, and maybe I would have personally preferred maybe a little more serious take on the D&D universe. But overall, yes, it did kind of feel like a campaign. You had a bard that couldn't bard very well, um,
Chris
but
Pine was great,
which is
and Hugh
okay.
Grant. Oh man,
Oh
he's
yeah,
just a joy to watch in whatever he does.
yeah.
He was so good as
Yeah. So
that
so
guy.
they had it's like stop shooting yourselves in the foot, people. Stop
Yeah,
shoot. You're running out of feet. You're running.
let me give you my money. Why
Yes.
are you fighting me about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in the demographic that has the most disposable income, and the modern audience aren't going to buy your stuff, and there's not enough of them to replace me.
Yeah. And for the most part, they're we pick. Yes. My personal feeling on this is, we had kind of a convergence of things. Maybe just a bunch of things converged all at the same time. You had Big Bang Theory, which kind of introduced pop culture to nerddom. Which
Hmm.
I grew up a nerd, man. I was always getting picked on, and there's a reason why a lot of nerds become metalheads because there's strength in numbers, and
Yep.
um, and and the music is great. I mean,
And metal's a great way of working out negative emotions,
yes,
and it's
exactly.
inspiring and uplifting and motivating.
I mean, Maiden, Manowar, Megadeth,
Have you checked out Castle Rat?
I have not.
Okay, so modern band with it's acid metal,
Okay.
so very Black Sabbath, and the
Hmm.
lead. If you watch any of their videos, um, you're gonna be like, oh, they really like D&D.
Yeah.
And the lead, it's an incredibly hot chick. Oh my god, I just can't even describe how hot this chick is. Castle Rat, look them up.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
you can
have to
find
do
them on
that.
YouTube. They're fantastic,
The the
and the acid rock's good.
yeah the last show, the last concert my wife and I went to, and that's one of the things we do. That disposable income. Well, I don't know how disposable it is, but we do dispose of it.
Yep.
The last
Shank it.
concert in Florida we went to before we moved up here. We went to see Iron Maiden down in Sunrise. Was
Mhm.
not our first Iron Maiden show, nor our second, third, or fourth. We've seen them many, many times before. Um, and um, every time we go, t-shirt. Do you know how much t-shirts cost at a concert nowadays?
Not even
Eh,
worth it, dude.
They're $40. You know how many I buy every time?
How
At
many?
least four.
Oh, they got your number.
Yeah.
They got your number.
I mean, so yeah, it's kind of the same thing at you know don't fight me like you said, don't fight me. Yeah, I'm a white dude in the basement, I'm sorry. that's but it's my basement, I own it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm paying a mortgage on it anyways, you
Why?
know.
Why would they even do? Why would you do that? Like, why would if you have this? Like, say I'm not a gay guy, but say of my books, my works, I became a smash hit in the LGBTQ plus community, and they just loved me, and they're always sending me fan mail, this and that. I would be nice to them.
Right.
Well, one, because they're other people, and if they're being nice to me, I'll be nice to them back.
Yeah.
But two, they like what I'm doing, and I appreciate that, and so why not? Why
Yeah.
not? Well, I would not go around and insult them.
Don't
Yeah,
don't
being nice to your customers is just sane.
Wow, what a crazy thought.
imagine that notion. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh
We
man,
got some great comments coming on. I haven't listened to Clutch, Archie, but I wrote it down. I'll check out Clutch.
Angelo likes goth, huh? Okay.
Man, you gotta see his Instagram feed.
Do
And
I? Yeah.
his algorithm is my fault, by the way,
Is it
because I send him nothing but goth girls with white monsters.
is
Um,
is that why I'm getting those now?
I'm not sending them to you, but I can.
No, but like they're showing it, that you see the shorts on YouTube. Somehow, all of a sudden, I'm getting this goth girl. It keeps on popping up. I'm like, I I I mean, I had friends that were goth. Back before we even called it goth. I don't even remember what we called it in the '80s. There was another name for it.
I thought they were goths.
Was it?
They were a type of punk
Yeah,
originally.
I mean, I had friends that were punk. I had a lot of skater punk. I had a lot of friends that were skaters. I did not skateboard. I did not have the dexterity to skateboard.
I mean,
Nope, nope, nope. And every one of them I know have broken multiple bones. And I'm
yep.
like, more power to you guys. But
I didn't have the level pavement. I had a crushed gravel road. That's what I grew up on. So I didn't have
yeah,
anything I could have skated on.
I have a shared driveway that's about a tenth of a mile long, and it needs paved again. And uh,
F's in the chat, everybody. F's in the chat.
yeah. Any rate,
Uh,
so I got to hit that 500 subs, right? It's like,
yeah, there you go, man. Yeah. If I'm
yeah,
pretty sure I already subscribed, but I'll subscribe twice. I'll figure it out.
yeah. So I did promise that I was going to mention this. Let me bring this up. The chat's going to go away here because restream is restream. But
Yeah.
uh,
So when I mentioned that most of my involvement in the RPG hobby and on the creative side of it is as an editor, the first chance I had to do that was I was reading a module I bought from Joe Block, Greyhawk Grognard.
yeah,
And I noticed that there were some spelling errors and some typos and like something missing. So I
yeah,
messaged him on Facebook, like, hey, you might want to fix this. And he's like, okay, thanks. And then I read the other module I got from him, and I noticed the other thing was like, "Hey, you might want to do this." And he was like, "Okay," and he fixed them. And he said, I updated the PDF." And since I had heckled him twice, he wanted to do another pass through of R1 into the Great Rift, or the
uh,
Great Rift,
yeah,
and he was like, "Here, since you like picking at my stuff, go pick at this. I'll pay you $25." And I did. It was a great module. It needed that polish, though. It needed a professional editor to look at it, and that was my first paying gig, editing. And since then, I'm up to like 15 or 16 credits for that. And the most recent one I've done with Joe, the first one he's paid like big bucks for, is this edition two, Castle of the Mad Archmage. His take on um, Castle Greyhawk. That's been a big seller. People love it. And he has endless excuses to add on to it. Well, this one's Vaulted Halls of Night. And he's really leaning on the faction play here, between, like, there's a serpent cult that they're messed up, man. There's these rebels from the Unseelie court that are in there. And, like, the artwork of the would-be queen there, I messaged Joe. I was like, she better calm down with those thighs, or I'm gonna get in this book and come at it. So she's hot. And the vaulted halls, Joe really plays with these special rooms that you can trigger these environmental effects. That some of them I was like, huh, I've never heard of that before, but I bet that'd be really annoying. Is this what you mean, Joe? He's like, oh yeah, it'll totally screw with players. I was like, I love it. So he's got a lot of creativity going on in this. That one's on backer kit right now. You can still get in on it. Um, I'm looking forward to playing this myself, running this myself. Vaulted Halls of Night, on backer kit. So yeah,
yeah,
check that one. That is the second. No, that's the third most recent module I've edited. So in like the past month and a half, 2 months, I've knocked out 3 editing jobs, which, given the timelines these publishers keep giving me, apparently I'm like crushing the deadlines. Like, they'll get it back for me in a week or
yeah,
less when they're expecting it back in like a month and a half. And I'm like, done. Well, it's because when they give it to me, I'm on the clock of trying to render customer service and I don't want them waiting on me, because publishers, they got all kinds of stuff to deal with logistically. So if I can get them everything they need to complete the manuscript, that is a huge part taken care of.
yeah.
Um,
I
and
went
it,
in. I
Go
went
ahead.
in on his last Kickstarter, which hasn't fulfilled yet. I think
Okay.
that one. That's the hardcover, not the one that was done for the Mega Dungeon month on Backer
Book
Kit.
of Fell Wisdom, or I think he changed the
Yes,
name to it.
yeah. I
Um,
think he did too. And he is
yeah.
on my short list of people to have.
Oh, he's a
So
hoot,
yeah,
especially if you want to talk news of the weird or conspiracies. He keeps telling me that was the most fun episode he's done, is when we just talk conspiracies.
yeah.
Um, and Freemasonry and
Oh sure.
aliens and psychic phenomena and all kinds of
And
stuff.
he is going to be at CNYCon, so he
Oh,
and I will
good
get to
for
have that
you.
conversation.
Do it.
And I'm looking forward to that. In fact, I'm hoping I've got a little bag that I it was actually something that we won from a mystery box when we went to the Huntsville Ham Fest last year. I got it packed full of my batteries, my camera, my wireless mics, and all that stuff will fit in this tiny little backpack that I can take along with me. And then, of course, I've got my backpack that came from the Adventurers backpack from Troll Lord Games, the
There you go.
real backpack that you probably saw sitting on the shelf in my back area. So I am planning on taking that. The backpacks, the backpack is for stuff that I buy to go into. The little pack is for my media stuff, and then I will drag my little tripod along with me that I picked up at I think a Carm store or something like that. One of the little, you know, you know, used things probably almost as old as me, but whatever. It works, and I'm planning on doing some live interviews and stuff. Well, not live. I'll record them on my handy cam,
Good.
and hoping to have Joe Block as one of those, and then maybe get him on the show at some point in time. So,
That'd be
but
great.
speaking of publications,
Yeah.
you have your own, right? This
Oh
is
yeah.
yours.
I got several. This is my first short story collection, Memphis Dirty Tales from the Dirty South, because I've lived in Memphis and considered it, kind of like my real origin point, for good or for bad. And so, me and I think it was three other folks who also have been cursed and tainted by Memphis. I asked them for some short stories. They gave me some to go with my own that went into it. And it's low down and dirty, just like Memphis is. That's why it's called Memphis Dirty Tales from the Dirty South. And this one, I've narrated almost every story in it. There's one I haven't narrated yet on my YouTube channel. So if you want to
Right.
check it out, see if you like it, you can listen to the stories there, read by the author in most cases. Um, and if you want to support me, go ahead and snatch it. That'd be just fine. Um, but I had a heck of a lot of fun with that thing. But then I also am in the process of reading the only autobiography I've edited, um, and that is "Call Me Tennessee"
Yeah. Did you
by
send me a
Jeff
link for
Blitzner.
that? I know you. I know
Oh,
you
I
sent me a
didn't.
bunch
I
of stuff,
didn't do that one. I'm just telling
and I
folks
was
about it.
thinking, yeah, yeah.
And so, if you ever wondered what the autobiography of a Jewish hobo would be like, I got you covered, fam.
I
Um,
I love
and
I love how the cover. If you don't pay attention, I could see some people throwing a fit about the cover and oh my god, how can you do that? And
uh,
because it's the stars and bars, but the stars are the
the
Star of
Stars of
David.
David. Yep.
Yeah.
And this dude was as pro Confederacy as you could get. Very old Southern pride, and
Mm,
it was a cool dude, man. And so there's that. And then the thing that got me started writing was while I was in Iraq, I had this burning idea in my head. I needed to write it out, called "To Save a Life," and it's about the Fourth Crusade and the fall of Constantinople. In reading the histories of it, one of the actual historians that we have material from in the real world, Nikitas Kodiatis, the city of Constantinople, the capital Eastern Roman Empire, for
right.
like 900 years at that
I was
point,
going to
something like
say at
that.
least 600 years. I'm
Yeah, and
not a historian.
the jewel of Christendom,
Mhm.
the only thing that held back the Islamic hordes for centuries, and the Persians before then, the richest city in the world. Um, it was destroyed by the Roman Catholic Crusaders, and but this philosopher fop, he saw this Western knight, this French knight, hauling off this girl, and he was going to go do some awful things. She's probably going to wind up dead in a ditch. And this fop, Nikitas, he was like, "No, I'm not. Like, yeah, my city, my home, my world is being destroyed around me. I'm going to save this chick I've never met." And I was like, "Man, that's some balls. I got to tell that guy's story," but that's like 10 pages. So what do you do with the rest of it? Well, you make a historical epic out of the rest of it.
Ah,
And that one of the my three publications that I've done personally, that one's the only one I haven't done a second pass at, because you learn a lot over the years of how to edit well and how to get the thoughts that are in your head onto pages. But it's still well reviewed. People still enjoy it, but it's not quite what I want now. Um, it's a great time. And if anytime I do an update on one of my books, if you give me any proof of purchase, I'll send you the new PDF for free. No problem with that. But that one was probably my most self-indulgent novel ever. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. And if other people like it, that's great. If they don't, that's fine. I had to tell the story I had to tell, and it'd probably break your heart.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So Cam, I know is short of time. He has to leave in about 10 minutes or
I can.
15 minutes. But Cam, you've been very interactive this evening. It's great to hear you interactive. Go ahead and I'll let you follow up with anything that you need to before you got to give the little spiel.
You seem to be implying that I'm not normally interactive. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he's
No, no,
caught between different planes so much
he
Yeah.
is. He
in
is.
mysteries.
Sometimes
Well,
his head is in a different plane.
by this time of the show, I have to start to develop my other personality for the next show. So that might be it. But for this show, I have to say that this has been a pleasure having you on, Stephen. You're
Thank you, sir.
a live wire, so which
Is
is
that a
great.
good thing?
The
Yes,
good kind. The good
absolutely.
kind.
That's the
Okay,
you,
good.
you bring some energy to the show, and it's been a great time talking to you and hearing your various stories and things you're working on. So I
Yeah, we'll do it
appreciate you
again.
coming on. Right
Yeah,
on.
thanks, Cam.
All right.
All right. Well, and while we're doing that, to give you the moment, Cam, what's coming up on Top Lofty Lounge this evening?
Well, actually, this is on the Sci-Fi Snob channel, and the Snob, who is the host of the show, wants to open up for discussion of our future, but also revisiting a few past things. So, if you're in the chat, you will have an opportunity to come on and voice your opinion.
Oh, really? I can come on?
Well, you know how he feels about you.
Well, yeah. Just because we do that Babylon 5 thing every Wednesday, and
True, true.
I always give him a hard time because he doesn't like to do ratings, and I always force him to. That's what I think is the his big gripe with me.
Well, you can come on and rate us tonight then.
Oh, well, I might do that. If anybody is interested, and of course you can always catch it on there. I think I have a Top Lofty in here somewhere. If not, you can drop it in the chat. Oh, here you go. There's our Sci-Fi Snob, Top Lofty Lounge, and Babylon 5 retrospective. The Babylon 5 retrospective is every Wednesday at what time do we do that?
11 p.m. Eastern.
11 p.m. Eastern, and of course Top Lofty is also at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
So that follows this show. Sometimes we do run over because I'm yappy like that, and I'm good to go. But you do have to bail in about 5, right?
Well, I might as well go now since we've already extroed me out, and
I
I'll let you
did.
guys. I'll
No,
let you guys
stand around
continue.
I wasn't
awkwardly.
pushing you out.
It'll be cool.
I'm, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get crap from everybody in chat now for pushing you out of the thing.
I'll turn the sound up as I run to the bathroom between shows so I can hear you guys continue.
Yeah.
Not so we can hear you
No,
piss.
no, no. So
So
I can
you
hear
can hear
you.
us.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I got
absolutely not the
you.
other way.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Pretty cool,
Okay.
man.
Yep. Nice meeting you.
Catch you on the
Good
next one.
having you on, Cam. Thanks, buddy. We'll
Take
see
care.
you next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And any rate, everybody, even if we do run long, I don't know. That's up to our guest here how long he wants to go. But
There's a few other titles I'd like to plug because there's been some great creators and
sure.
some cool modules I've been working with. So Luau Lu of Dandelion Games. He's put out the Dare Luck Club RPG, and he does a lot of stuff for Mutant Crawl Classics, Dungeon Crawl Classics. He also has a podcast. I think it's on Podbean exclusively called This Old Dungeon, where him and Bill Barsh of Pacesetter Games, quality dude there. I interviewed him before. And Edwin Nagy of Parallel Dimensions Gaming, formerly of Frog God and Necromancer Games. So all three of these guys are indie publishers and successful at it. They make enough money to where they can keep making more stuff with higher production values, and they've got decades of experience with doing it. Um, and so this is serious depth of talent on This Old Dungeon. I love listening to it because they open up talking about just what are they up to in the world of gaming. So if you get a lot of inside baseball for cons, as well as what it's like being an indie RPG publisher, but
Yep.
then they review a module and talk about what they would do to fix it. So, like the Bob Vila show, this old house, how would you fix up this dungeon?
Right.
And he's this madman, Lou. He decided he wanted to go from in a single month, go from conception to published product in his hand for a module for Mutant Crawl Classics called The Last Taco, where the player characters have to escort this old, um, on his last legs adventurer to this faraway city run that's been ruined. But there's this restaurant there run by robots where they make tacos, and he wants one last taco before he dies. And if that sounds like fun to you, this module will deliver on all of that. But that's he's not kickstarting that one. He's just gonna start getting it out at cons, and thus the crunch on his time. But the last thing that we worked on that's available right now, Gammatastic Voyage. This thing is the movie. Is it Interspace meets kaiju movies? So at some point, your
Uh-oh.
Mutant Crawl Classics characters are going to have to shrink down and go inside of a kaiju to try to stop it from destroying your village. And it's gross because Lou got very accurate with the internal workings of a kaiju, but it's a hell of a lot of fun and it looks beautiful, and the handouts and the maps and the overlays he made for that, dude, that yeah, check out Gammatastic Voyage, you won't regret that one.
Did I get all the links posted in the chat that you?
Let's
I
see.
tried to post all the ones that you
Dandelion,
you sent me
Reinhardt.
that I didn't have
Yeah,
a pop up thing already set up for.
yeah, I think you got it. And then the one I just knocked out is the finale in the Whispering God adventure series for Dungeon Crawl Classics. Um, and it's published by Jeffrey Jones. That one is going to be crowdfunded because the previous ones were successfully crowdfunded. It's not there yet because they're still in the production phase, but I've done my part. Um, and
When that comes out,
oh,
if you don't mind, I would be more than happy to have him on the show.
that's a great idea.
We could have him and you if you want, or however you want to do it.
Oh yeah,
But please extend the offer. We're always looking for interesting people that are in the tabletop. That's my goal. With this show, is to have interesting people that are in the tabletop hobby or even adjacent. If you're into painting minis and stuff like that. I'm fairly new to painting minis. I didn't even own any minis until 2021, 2020, something
oh
like that.
no, COVID got you into it, huh?
Yeah. And now I bought an airbrush the other day,
Oh
and
no.
I know, I know. So,
Oh.
so those,
That's a
I
great idea. And Jeff Jones, he's got his own YouTube channel, I think, RPG Ramblings, and they're really interesting episodes. And he gets into like nuts and bolts of making an RPG. Like he had an episode dedicated to selecting the font style
oh,
of what you
let
would.
me tell you what I go through. Did you see my intro?
Yeah, yeah, I did, and it's quite the intro.
Yeah. So that's the one. Yes, I hand make those intros. Yes, I have
Mhm.
something that
Good.
I kind of base it off the first one that I did, so it's all thematically they're kind of consistent, but they're not AI generated intros.
Good. I am not a fan of
Eh,
AI, even though it's working. The thumbnails are working great for Angelo, but I'm not. Uh, I'm
I
not that
hand
big.
make my thumbnails. If I can get real art, yes, I love to have real art. I love to have real covers and
Mhm.
stuff like that to put in them if I can throw them on there. Um, unfortunately I did one of those that same group I volunteer for. Actually, I'm an assistant emergency coordinator. So,
Oh, okay.
but we had a 5K yesterday
Oh, yeah.
that we supported. No, I didn't run a 5K. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that good. But what we did, it supports local children, like foster children
Oh, good.
in the area here,
Good.
and that kind of ate into my time yesterday because I wound up being the sweep vehicle. I was at one of the checkpoints, and then I went ahead and swept the route. And of course, there was one guy. God bless him. God love him. He was gonna make it to the end. On a 5K,
But
1 hour and 8 minutes in, I think is what he finished at. But of course, I'm following like one of the emergency vehicles. It's kind of just cruising along, you know. So, but you know what? More power to these people. They are, they have more drive than I do when it comes to that type of stuff. But I put my efforts into other things like this channel, tabletop gaming,
mhm,
trying to provide emergency support. We do things like search and rescue and stuff like that. We provide emergency communications for stuff like that. So
kind of important. Yeah.
yes, ham radio is still alive. Yes, we're still around.
Long live ham radio. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's
So
cool that y'all are out there doing that.
better watch out. I might try and get you into the hobby. I've been trying to get Steven Chenault into the hobby for a while now
I
too.
heard you hard selling him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think you
send
might be
him
able to do
books.
it too.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. If they do TrollCon, I will go out to Arkansas. I will go out to Arkansas. I've always driven around Arkansas every time because it was the 90s. But but I've never been to Arkansas. But I will go out to Arkansas just to go make sure that I go to TrollCon, and I will do the hard sell for sure in person. Bring my radio and make contacts and put them on the air. So
Yeah, and they're in the Little Rock area, right? So go strapped. Yeah. Go strapped.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think they're. I don't know how close to Little Rock themselves they are. I think they're in a little more, slightly more rural area than that, or suburban area.
Mhm.
I know they were looking at a warehouse. They bought property, and then the county changed the codes on them after they had already bought it.
That was crap, man.
And yeah, that
I was
was
looking
they.
forward to that because having a domestic, like a dedicated domestic printer for RPG products, like I would love to give them money for stuff that I'll work on in the future.
Oh, I love
Um,
I love those guys, man. And
yeah,
the discounts for veterans. I was
right.
not I was not honored enough to be able to serve. I tried to enlist, but they were shutting bases down, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And at
Well,
that by
Clinton.
the yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you had Clinton or Obama. You could pick from where they were chasing people out. Well, and then Biden did it too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and my dad was in the Air Force. He was too old for Vietnam, too young for Korea. So you know what he was doing when he was in the Air Force? He was sitting in a missile silo during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
You
Yeah.
sign up for the life of sex and danger, and
Mm,
sometimes you get the sex. Uh,
yeah. My father-in-law was career Navy. He was also the one who raised me. You you
okay,
you get you get that connotation. No, he didn't rear me. He wasn't my father. He was my father-in-law, but
I got you.
uh, you know what I mean. Other people in the audience may not get it.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I know. I feel you, and that's
but
cool. That's
but
great. How
you
long
know my
ago?
uh a long time ago now.
Yeah,
For a
yeah.
number of
Like
years,
if
yeah.
you asked me to like put a number on it, I'd be like,
I'd have to do the math because it was
25 or something, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, maybe
Let's
20
see if I
25
got
years
my
ago.
seventh degree ring right here. I thought I had. Let's see. I got my Scottish Rite card. I got.
Well, he was Scottish Rite, York Rite. He was 10 Lizzies. So he was in the shrine. He was yeah, that was my
Yeah,
father-in-law.
there's my seventh degree ring right there. Let's see if you can get the character on the. It's just a little too blurry.
Yeah, yeah, the
But
cameras don't like to focus on that.
I got some York Rite stuff over here. Got a bunch of challenge coins from different lodges, but that's cool that it was your father-in-law that got to do that. It's good to
Yeah.
have some personal connections if you can do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I reached out to him when my grandfather um, passed away. My grandfather, of course, was a Mason too, most of his
Yep,
life.
he was.
Um,
My
World War II
grandfather
generation.
was the one who gave me the idea to even try it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was in the same lodge that he was in, or had been in before he, passed away. But then some good friends of mine helped do the Masonic funeral for him and all that stuff. And that's when my father-in-law assisted with that group, and you know, and that's when I became became one. So, but any
Yeah.
rate,
And we
what do
got
you?
at least one other person in the audience who's interested in getting in on it. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, 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 no. By all means, I'm just, I'm walking around. That's why I have my camera
Oh,
off.
you good?
I
And
do, I do that.
I
Um,
think one of the people that I've talked about working with just recently became a Mason, and I was one of the sponsors for him um, to help him get in. And I think you dropped the link in there for another product that I'm particularly proud of editing by Ryan Howard, who on YouTube he's got RGH, or I think it's at RGH Press. It used to be Rolling Bones, and if you find that channel, some of his older episodes still very much worth your time,
yeah,
especially his interviews with folks like Casey Christopherson, who is a gem,
yeah,
and other the other creators. There's some big brain activities going on that channel, but he had. Done a he had done a Kickstarter that was very successful. Him and another person. Well, the other he right they hired me to do the editing. Ryan did his part,
yeah,
and he was so easy to work with, and a talented writer. Great ideas on that guy. Takes not direction, but suggestions in good spirit. Um, but the other guy had a nervous breakdown and didn't was never going to finish his part of the. Yeah, King Yella knows what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Had a nervous breakdown, never finished his part of it. And so Ryan did the hard but right thing. It was like, okay, well, I'm going to refund all these people's money, and it wound up costing him money, but I was like, Ryan, you still got to put this thing out. You had good material. And so let's make this happen. So he got together the Rakes Codex to Nighthaven, Volume 1. And this thing, so you got a richly detailed, but not it's not 50 pages of what type of brocade they wear and the particular patterns of the cobblestones on the streets. No, it's short, sweet, setting history, what the part of the city is we're talking about, the major factions involved, the very few key NPCs. It's very accessible, easy, light reading, fast reading, and he comes up. He also adds a couple adventures at the end that ties everything he's already told you about together. So everything that you learned about in the rest of the module, you get to play at the table. He play tested the crap out of this thing at cons and this and that. Always had a great time. And I read it. I thought it was great. And it's available on Drive Through RPG right now. I would highly suggest you to check it out. The $15 for the PDF is well worth it. You're going to get a ridiculous amount of material. If you get past the cover, I think the cover is hideous, but the art on the inside is amazing. If you just get to that,
What?
your jaw's gonna drop from the quality of the art that's on the inside.
So did I have a link for that or not?
Yeah, I think you did. It was
Did I
the
drop it?
Ryan Howard Rakes Codex of
Yeah,
Nighthaven. I think I saw you drop it.
this one here.
Yeah,
Let me
you
see.
dropped it with at the same time as the
Yeah, yeah. I,
yeah
I I
at the
dropped
same
a I
time as
dropped a
Jeffrey
couple of
Jones.
yeah I dropped a couple
Yeah,
of them.
and I think I screwed up my focus. Anyway,
That's all right.
um,
But
but yeah,
yeah,
good
no,
seeing
that's
y'all.
this has been great. And D'Angelo, you're on my list. By the way, I'd like to say hail to Flint Fireforge out there, who until I started actually reading the Dragonlance Chronicles, had no clue who his namesake
I
was.
picked up on that. Like you're
I
like, hey, it's Flint Fireforge. What a cool name. Do you not know who Flint
yeah,
Fireforge is?
so okay. So I'm old enough that I ran a bulletin board back in the day.
Wow.
So Death Angel Shadow is actually my sys-up name from back in
Ah,
that day. Does not come from the book by the Kane novels. Just in case you were curious, people have
okay,
asked.
okay.
People kept on asking me, "Oh, I see you got that from Kane." No, nope. I have the book. I have to read it, but I'm trying to finish Dragonlance Chronicles first,
You should. They're good.
um, because I'm kind of in the middle of it, and and I have to force myself to read it. And once I start reading it, then I'll read for hours. But it's that there's always something else, the ADD brain going on.
Yeah, and when you're such a busy person, you're like, "Oh, I don't have time for this, but I got
It's
time to doom scroll
it's
on Facebook or YouTube."
right. It's literally sitting on the arm of my chair in the living room, um, along with I picked up. You had mentioned this earlier. I had picked up some of the Lovecraftian uh, type of gaming books. I
Good.
actually I have the complete works of H.P. Lovecraft that I picked up,
Good.
so that's on my list to read. So a lot of the stuff, I was when I was young, I was really into the whole sci-fi genre. So like eighth grade, I did my book report on Dune.
I heard
When I
you say that. That's pretty
when I
crazy.
when I told the teacher I wanted to do Dune, she looked at me like I had three heads and said, "Are you sure?"
Great book though.
But it was great. I loved it, and I loved the way that my comprehension is always been pretty good. Um, and I'm a contextual reader. I learned, I went to private schools as a little kid, so I learned how to read. I think I didn't start speaking until I was 2, but by the time I was 3, I could read out of a newspaper.
Oh wow,
So
that's pretty
I
good.
was one of those little. I just
You
didn't have
peaked
anything
early.
important to say, and then yeah, I did, right.
Peaked
Yeah, well, we won't talk about college because
down the sills. That's it.
I took the 25-year plan, but got off a year early with good behavior for college, to get my 2-year degree because
Bruh,
life, right?
bruh, bruh.
Right? I know.
Uh,
I should have had a master's.
no.
I got a buddy of mine that was he's actually right now in Beijing. But he was a high school buddy of mine. I was in 10th grade. I think he was a freshman, and we were both, computer nerds. He was my skater buddy, and I introduced him to metal, and he introduced me to, some of the skater music back in, this would have been in 87, 88, something like that, or it's somewhere around then, right? He's got a PhD. So I said, so that mean I got to call you Doc now? He's like, oh, shut up. I'm like,
Mm,
well, you know,
But
um,
when it comes to the Dragonlance novels, yeah, read the first three, and then read. I think it's the Legend series where it's the twins
wait,
about Rayson and
hold
Caramon.
on, hold on. Let me see. I think I know. So,
But then
do I have them on
stop.
here? Hammer time? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That
Yeah,
was
don't go to what is it?
so
The
the Chronicles are upstairs, but
okay,
Legends was
yeah,
the one that just came. Of course, this is not new. I mean,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is brand new, but the books themselves are not new. They just came out. Now I have a couple other ones that I picked up. There's a used bookstore and unfortunately, it's very famous in Tennessee and North Carolina, but they're closing the Knoxville location
I
after.
know McKay's is losing a location. That's heartbreaking because, like, I used to raid the McKay's in Nashville,
Oh, and dude, it's
dude.
so sad. I went in there a couple of weeks ago
Oh,
and just, oh, but I try to pick up used books, because I like hardback. I like stuff on the shelf, man. I like
yeah.
tactile. I am a tactile reader. I
Me and
love.
Flint are telling you right. Chronicles, Legends, stop. Don't read it. If you get to the new age, you are not going to have a good time. You're just not.
Okay, yeah,
So
but
if you see one involving the god of chaos showing up, it jumps the shark. Because
yeah,
one thing that annoys me about Dragonlance, and maybe you've probably already gotten enough of a spoiler where this ain't gonna change surprise you at all, is that okay?
it's over 30 years old.
O-
It's all
the opening premise of the setting is that the gods were like, "I'm done with your shit," and like left, and
right.
then mortals had to go around in a time of darkness, and that's cool. That's moody, and then the gods come back and stuff happens. All right.
Right.
Well, okay. We're cool. We had a revolution in the setting. Now let's play with it. But if you follow the novels, too much happens to to where the pacing is going to be garbage, and the gods leave again. Then they kind of come back, and then it's like, dude, no, no, pick something and run with it.
Yeah.
Um, and so actually, the 1E Dragonlance Adventures hardback is probably one of the best Dungeons and Dragons books ever made because it is a wonderful setting book. The special classes you get for it is so flavorful and authentic to the setting and how things should work. I'd highly recommend that to anybody. I would play a game out of it today. Um, let's see. Oh, we got King Yellow.
Oh, did I take it away too soon?
Oh no, I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Dragonlance. Yeah, so King Yellow read all the published modules for Dragonlance, and they have problems. Railroad is an understatement
Yeah,
for them.
I've heard that about Dragonlance from a setting perspective, because and I think even Forgotten Realms can suffer from this a little bit. You know, you can't kill off Drist, you can't kill off, a lot of
But
the a
if you
lot
don't,
miss
you lose the nothing means anything because if he's always going to survive, then no threat is important
plot
enough.
armor, plot armor, plot armor.
Let
Yeah,
him go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but
and my biggest gripe about what WotC has done with Faerun, as somebody who that was, man, when third edition came out, that's what we were doing.
mhm.
We ran the hell out of Faerun. That's what I cut my teeth on, DMing wise.
Sure,
You know,
yeah, it used to be a great setting. It really did. Like
and
1E and 2E, that was fantastic.
even third edition, I would take a lot of the stuff from second edition and turn around and fold it into it. I'm not gonna say how I got those PDFs, but I have them. Um,
Listen, it's all happening. It's good to go.
but
We're here now.
yeah. So if I try to buy the original published modules if I can find them, that's one of the things I like to do.
Hmm.
But one of my biggest gripes with fifth edition is it seems like WotC has been stuck on the Sword Coast,
Hmm.
and there are so many better, not better, but so many more things to go explore in Faerun than just the Sword Coast all the time.
I think the Moonsea region was probably the best setting in Forgotten Realms. You had the
Yeah,
most variety, you had the most credible villains, and it was all relatively close together. Whereas, like on the Sword Coast, it is a long way from Waterdeep slash Seattle to Am to Kalimshan to, I mean, they're city states along
right.
this map. Like a lot of folks don't realize this about the Forgotten Realms, but in the, I think it was the 2E, it might have been the 1E, like book for Forgotten Realms, it had a map where it showed here's the United States, here's the Western Heartlands. And so like Faerun is enormous,
Yeah.
and a lot of folks have no idea that like if you're going to go from Suzale and Cormyr to Waterdeep, you're on foot, brother. You're going to be like a year if you're
Months and months.
lucky
Yeah. Yeah.
across some like really awful terrain because it's that far. I mean, it's further than the Oregon Trail was.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
Flint is right. Look at that. Treat the PCs, even the legends, and this is true for any setting, as normal PCs. It's more fun. New players do not give a crap who they are. Yes, very, very much a good. By the way, Flint said that he would do the invocation at SmokyCon when I
oh,
do it.
very nice.
So he's not too terribly far away from me either. So you know,
So
um,
Edgelord also agrees Moonsea's the best, and y'all turned to Alias, Evil, and Curse of the Azure Bond, so y'all actually got to play through the published adventure. I mean, I have it. I've never ran it for somebody, but it looks like it'd be neat. I always had a soft spot for the Dark God Moander. Don't know why. He's kind of a douche, but I played the Gold Box games, and he was a big deal in that, and it was
I
pretty cool.
I was just getting ready to bring up. Did you ever play the SSI Gold Box
Loved him.
games? I
Pool of Radiance, Pool of Darkness, and a bunch of the Kryn ones were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. There was a Humble Bundle special month or two ago where you could pick up all the SSI Gold Box games.
nice.
I picked up all the SSI Gold Box
And
games.
you treat yourself.
And
Now,
maybe
play
it's
them.
well, and I did play a lot of them back in the day, but I might do some streams at some point. I keep talking about it, but it's one of those things. The whole finding the time to sit down and chill and do something else. I know. I see that. I see that.
Your party were Bane worshippers, Edgelord? Oh my God. Wow. What kind of people were you? But anyway, I think I should probably get going, but I'm going to part on this bit of hate speech from my wife is that gamers are always so busy. We're always doing this and that, that we set up live streams so we have an excuse to talk to our friends
Yeah,
because
maybe.
otherwise we won't do it.
Yeah, yeah. We're all friends here. All
And
right.
she also tells me that you have all these books. Why aren't you reading them? Excuse me, woman. Back up. Back up. She's full of hate speech. King
Yeah.
Yellow knows.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the credits. If you don't mind sticking around for just a few
Yeah,
minutes after we'll have a quick wrap up chat.
been a
But
blast.
I appreciate you coming on. Everybody, definitely pick up his book. Let me throw that up
Memphis
here.
Dirty.
Pick up Memphis Dirty and help him keep his editing chops going.
Yeah,
Pick up Castle Mad Archmage by Joe Block, who at some point in time I swear I'm getting him on here. So
he's not
any
hard.
rate,
Just ask him.
anybody that's still lingering around, check out Sci-Fi Snob Top Lofty Lounge. It's already ongoing, and apparently it's open line Sunday. Any rate,
Ooh,
so that's going to be interesting. So if you are into sci-fi, uh, you know, and always tune in on Wednesdays to we do the Babylon 5 retrospective, also on Sci-Fi Snob's channel, and occasionally if we have a special guest, he lets me restream it on my channel too. So we had Peter Jurasik, as you saw in the intro.
so cool.
He was an awesome. I love Peter. He is
What an
so
honor.
great. I want to take that dude out to a baseball game. I told him he was like, "Oh yeah, man, him and I got along great." I think he kind of liked me, so it was kind of cool. I appreciate
I
that.
mean, you are kind of cute.
Well,
Just saying.
Any rate, all right, everybody, take care. We'll see you next week. We have the Gooey Cube guys on. We have Alphinius Goo and Camera Mandy and a special guest. Maybe,
Maybe
probably. It's pretty much confirmed, but tune in
99%
next week.
chance.
99% chance. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.